Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between.
He's a South Texan poppy poet living that hashtag middle-class gay life. It's Chibbi.
And he's a West Side bird with a badass hoodie collection. It's Rooster.
And this is Words and Shit,
The show where you get to know the person behind the poetry.
brought to you by Write Art Out.
Yo, Roost. What up?
How's it going, Chibbi? How are you doing today?
I mean, you know, it's another day. It's another day. It's also been a good day.
Okay.
I mean, you know, the weather was nice, a little bit of rain. It's just kind of chill, you know, feeling productive, you know, the grind.
The grind, the life, the rain. I feel all that. Yes. I'm really tripped out because this is the time of year where I feel like it should just be burning up hot. So now that it's not, I'm loving it. But then it also keys me into like the dread that climate change is real. And yeah.
This is true. But I think we can enjoy the positive sides of it for just a little bit. You know, it's been a journey to get to this where it's like the middle of July and it's actually bearable outside in San Antonio. The other thing that's been a journey is like our lives. Like we've been friends for a while now.
This is true. Yeah. We have amazing friends and we've met a lot. You and your own poetic journey and sojourn around Texas from Laredo to Austin to Laredo to Houston to San Antonio. And then mine just based from here and meeting everyone from everyone else. Like we have seen all different sides of things for a while and a lot of different people.
Yeah, we've accumulated quite a plethora of friends, and not just friends, but friends that are doing amazing and fantastic things. You know, like we had Andrea of OCAP Sanderson on here last week, who is the current San Antonio Poet Laureate, right? That are just like out there and just like changing things. Like Lupe Mendez, I think we consider a friend of sorts. That's going to be like the Poet Laureate of Texas next year. Mm-hmm. So I just count myself privileged to have people in my life that are incredible and doing things and changing lives in their communities. And today's guest is no different. So I'm excited to jump into this conversation.
Absolutely. Today, we have none other than Outspoken Bean, the New Jersey-born, San Antonio raised, H-Town-based military brat. Started performing spoken word in 2005 and is now the new Houston Poet Laureate. H-Town, stay down. He was also the first poet to perform on Houston's Ballet main stage with their production play. He was also commissioned to write and perform a national campaign on diversity for Pabst Blue Ribbon and Vice, while producing his own festival, Plus Fest, the Everything Plus Poetry Festival. In 2008, Bean helped develop Texas' largest youth poetry slam organization and slam team, Metaphor Houston, with Shannon Buggs and DiverseWorks, in which he still coaches and uses it as a vehicle today to mentor Houston youth. Bean willingly seeks, finds, collaborates, and creates new ways for people to experience poetry through multiple mediums. We've known him a long time. He also loves Betty White. Please give a warm round of applause.
Y'all show some love in the comments section for Outspoken Bean.
Bang, bang, bang. What's up? What's happening? What's good?
What's up, friend? What's up?
Yo, man, I was texting people like the link. I just got it. I just been texting. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here to share some words and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Get it out there. Bean entering the space in true standard Bean fashion of just guns a-blazing. Pew, 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 pew. Here I am.
I mean, we don't, they don't need to be concealed anymore in Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Womp, 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 womp. No way to take it there, Bean.
Sad things.
Sad things. But what we are happy about is having you here on the show today with us. We all share this like common thread that is San Antonio, and we can dive into that.
It's this way, Countdown City, 210. That's right. Yeah.
Is that what that is? Because I learned that this was something else.
No, 1-1-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is U of H. That is 210.
Yeah. This is something else entirely.
Entirely,
yeah. But two things can be true.
Yes.
2 things can be true, brother.
I am at both excited and terrified as to how this conversation has started and where it's going to go tonight. So
I'm only excited. I'm as excited as a Hurt Locker.
All right, so let's jump into it. You know, like we're all friends here. We've been friends. The three of us, honestly, have like been friends and known each other for a very long time. So as friends, we like to start this podcast with a quick check-in. How's your heart today, Bean? How's your heart doing?
Man, it's good, dog. You know, right next door is Josh Wynn, who y'all had recently. He's working with my students with Metaphor Houston. And you know, it's an all-girl team, and they're fire, man. And so it's really after these long days that I have, and like working, capping it off with them, knowing it's about to end. It's knowing that the season is very close to being over. It's good stuff. It feels good, bro. Yeah, for sure. So I'm doing well. You know what I mean? My heart is full, and not wholly with a W. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah. It's something about, you know, like the work that we do for others ends up enriching ourselves. I've been struggling with the English language today, but yes, our lives are richer for it. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, man. Yeah, and yeah, our lives are richer for it. I like that. Yeah, for sure. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now, man.
Excellent. So before we get things kind of kicked off, we like to do this part of the show we call speed dating, where just for anyone who's tuning in right now, just to kind of get to know you, me and Chibbi are going to ask you a series of quick questions, and you can feel free to answer them as quickly and succinctly or as long-winded as you like. But these are for you and just to kind of get your temperature. So, and this kind of everything you're talking about kind of ties into my first question, which is what do you find more enjoyable? Coaching youth poets or performing and competing with adults?
Coaching.
Okay.
Yo, explain or what?
But it's up to you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, coaching is live, man. You know, so let me say this. If you said coaching or performing.
Is when you bring the other adults into the picture.
When you say other adults, oh man, give me the kids. I can tell them what to do, and I don't have to argue and things like that. But I encourage them to, like, you know, I recognize that a lot of times I am their practice of going against authority, which I encourage, right? I'm their first, like, I'm telling them, and they trust me, right? I'm telling them what to do, essentially. And then I'm also asking them to challenge what I'm telling them. Because it's your creativity and your art, and sometimes they're like, they wind up getting comfortable taking that up. I'm like, you know, well, use this as a DNA in your life, right? Especially, like, you know, I found it really important to do that with the girls that I had on my team before, but having an all-girl team, you need to be eloquent because your silence will be used against you. You know what I'm saying? Your silence will be used against you. Your silence will be propagated as if you enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? So you need to, like, if you don't like this simple, right? Because it's poems at the end of the day, right? It's poems. So why not practice going against and going against authority, right? Even though I'm saying that I'm safe, but not all authority is, right? And you got to be able to not just go against something because you don't want to, but you have to eloquently explain it so that way you can say it again on why, right? When after that moment is done. So that part is fun. That part is fun, and like creating and seeing what they come up with and then building something together that they're initially proud about. With the adults, listen, I loved slam, but I stopped slamming. So there we go.
I get it.
I love it. I also stopped.
Right. There you go. And I'm excited to dive more into your work with the youth of Houston a little later. But right now, next question. Yeah. What is the worst advice you've ever received?
Oh my God, the worst advice I ever received. I don't know. Worst advice. Man, this is one of those questions when I'm asleep.
Or worst advice you've ever given that like later you were like, actually that was trash. I probably shouldn't have said that.
That is bad advice.
Or worst advice you've heard someone else give someone else where you're like, the fuck? No.
You know, you're not helping my wife. You're not helping. But I will say some bad advice, is bad advice that I think, I think things as you live, I think advice becomes bad.
That's a bar.
I think advice becomes bad as you live, right? The things that worked for me at 25 will not work for me at 35. And I think like when we give advice, right? So for instance, how I coached Josh in 2009 when I was 24, 25. Mm-hmm. I refuse to recoach like that now because it doesn't work. And I thought it was working because, I watched the movie Coach Carter and Pride. And you know what I'm saying? I watched all these movies where it worked. You know what I mean? And the constant pushing and things like that and pushing to limits. You know what I mean? If you're going to push someone to the limits, you got to be able to bring them back and be willing to bring them back. And honestly, I'm not willing to, but I am willing to help guide. I am willing to build maps. I am willing to let you rest and kind of formulate what you need to do and then go there. And the results at the long run are better. So yeah, pretty much. I mean, the advice that I gave when I was younger, it may have worked for me even at that time. It's not going to work now for me even. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say to that. But I know the answer is going to come later.
You can always post about it later and just tag us. Be like, words and shit asked me this question.
Oh, man.
Tweet about it.
I'm so upset. I need to think about that for sure. Yeah.
Next question. So I have met you on the road. You've toured, you've been doing all kinds of stuff. And I remember you were going all around Texas. You've been to a number of amazing venues. From APS to the Heckle Dome to everywhere. So my question for you is, what was your worst or wildest performance that you ever had? Where it was just
performance?
Or wildest. Yeah.
Or wildest
performance?
Yeah.
I was in Pennsylvania. I was outside of Williamsburg, Pennsylvania. And it was blistering cold. It was a college gig. And I can't remember the name of the college. They had me, I had to fly, getting there sucked. But I got to the performance. I'm always grateful, but I'm always grateful for any school that has paid me to say words. You know what I mean? I'm always grateful. So I was grateful for this. But yeah, man, that performance was trash. One, they didn't promote it. And it's a really small school. It's a really, really, really small school. It was snowing. I had to get on one of those Cessna planes where they.
Oh, yeah. Them scary joints.
It was mad turbulence, dog. And so, the whole experience of getting there, and I was like, well, once I get in my hotel room was garbage. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was a whack hotel. It was and then when the performance itself, there was literally, it was in a cafeteria, and it was no one there. There was no advertisement. And that's happened to me before, but there was just sometimes there's people there. There was no microphone, no amplification. There was nothing there. They paid for me to travel there. And what made it really worse, I did the gig, and and like it was just me and like the cab, the person or the campus activity person, the adult that like drove me there, and she was like, "Oh, you're really good." I was like, "Yeah, you paid me.
You paid me to be here, of course."
But here's the thing. Here's what really sucks. It was a state school, and they didn't have my check. They're like, "Yeah, so we tried to cut your check." I was like, "Okay, try what?" Try. They're like, "Yeah, it's something." So here's the stub. I was like, "The stub? Where's the check?" Uncle Sam, I owe taxes.
Oh, damn.
And Uncle Sam was garnishing every show check I had. That was state school. If it was a state school, it went right to him.
Dang.
And I had like 4 more. I didn't get paid.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And that was the first. That was like starting out. The rest of the shows were good on that tour. But like, yeah.
Moral of the story is pay your taxes, kids.
I thought I did.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the worst one.
Wow. That'll stick. Later, you're going to have to tell me about the school, so I never go there. But
I mean, listen, it cashed because Uncle Sam took it.
Yeah.
it was man, I would have to dig for that. Anyway.
No. Last question. And you said you've like seen a few of these episodes, so maybe you know this question is coming, but it's the question I like to ask every single person. What is your favorite food dish to eat? Like
I don't have one, man. But listen, give me. I mean, Houston has great food.
Yes, it does.
Houston has food from around the globe.
Yes, it does.
You know what I'm saying? Houston has great food. My family is from New Orleans. Come on, New Orleans has great food. I love New Orleans Cajun dishes and New Orleans cuisine. It's a difference from Louisiana. It's a difference. All right. It's a difference. I like New Orleans food, right? So, but Houston, oh man, a lot of people, I can't say this as the poet laureate. I can't say this. Listen,
you're now a public figure.
Mexican food don't be hitting like it do in San Antonio, dog. It just doesn't. It doesn't. It does not. It doesn't be hitting. And barbecue in Houston doesn't hit like North Texas. I hate to admit it. It just doesn't. North Texas I love barbecue. North Texas got cities called cow towns. Stop it.
Yep.
Stop it. That's nicknames? Come on, dog. They like that whole region made money on cows. Yo, they know steak, B.
Listen, but Houston has the best right now. Don't get fired, Bean. Don't get fired. Like the Houston food.
No.
Still,
Houston's food.
Yeah.
Houston food and region. Yo, but
yes.
Tex-Mex, Mexican food, and
Houston. Don't get fired, Bean. Don't get fired.
Houston has a brilliant culinary scene.
A brilliant, they won.
It is true. However, I think Mexican food in Houston is actually Tex-Mex trying to be Mexican, and it just doesn't know what it wants.
Right, and there's a difference, right? And yes. I do think when it comes to Tex-Mex, it's comparable to San Antonio, right? I think it's comparable. And I think all the Texas cities have a good hold, except Austin's, have a good hold because Austin's is something different, right? That's hipster Mex, right? Come on, dog. It's something different. It needs to be a different name than Tex-Mex. Like Torchies can't be Tex-Mex.
No. Torchies are not tacos. Torchies are tortilla sandwiches.
Right. But and I'm not saying it's nasty. I'm just saying that it's different. It needs a different name. Right? Like like Mexican food is not Tex-Mex.
Mm-hmm. Tex-Mex is not Austin Mex.
It's not Austin Mex. All Mex.
All Mex. All right. So this was just a little tip in the water, a little toe in the water of getting to know the current Houston Poet Laureate, Outspoken Bean. We definitely want to get
713 day. You know what I'm saying? 713 day. H-Town. Hold up.
So we definitely want to dive into deeper conversation with you in a moment. For everyone that's joining us live, I see some people already using the comment section. I see Sarah, she's throwing some hearts out there. Hannah was laughing at something that we were doing. Malusi asked if we've ever been pitched or posted a South African poet before. No. You slide into my DMs.
Hello.
Some hellos. Lynn saying hi, Bean, all that. Jasmine, I see your question. Can you be more specific? I'm just throwing that out there. In any case, use the comment section, people. And right now, what we want to do is we want to hear some poetry. So, Bean, can you please just get it off and hit us with some poetry, please?
Easy.
Please. Give us a poem. We want to hear some poetry. So, Bean, can you please?
We're good. Y'all can hear me still? Perfect. This poem is listen, it's the Olympics. And I wrote this after the Olympics in 2016. And I still like it, and I'm actually building off of it because I think it's worthy. This is for Simone Manuel. Here we go. The great black shark. An opus for Simone Manuel, right? If I ever have a daughter, she will know how to swim because of you. To the first African-American to win in water at the Olympics, you began eroding an Olympus mountain that we had not yet climbed. Your win is important because fire hydrants still hold stories being aimed against Black people, right? And Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water. Our ancestors' cadavers were once breadcrumb trails for sharks to follow to American shores. Nat Turner was born in Tidewater, Virginia. And Emmett Till, bloated, unrecognizable to the face, was found in the Tallahatchie River. Only for 60 years later, this lion-eyed white woman admitted that it was a lie by his whistle in the first place. Maybe your veins have the buoyancy of Buffalo Bayou from whence you reign, an illuminating icon as you swam. Maybe you're showing us that we're not just builders like beavers, but we can conquer the waters as well and not give a damn, Simone. How imperative, how fitting and real. You submitted the first draft of rewriting our middle passage. You became a reporter, scratch that. You became a novelist, delete. You became an editor, revising our water narrative. Every stroke became a strike. All it takes is a cannonball dive to wash away a stereotype. The only time someone can say your skin is so black it's blue is when they're watching you be a torpedo in the pool. My reaction still burns when your perm is the inside joke that other races are relaxed to be on the inside of. Maybe because on land they're used to kissing our feet and eating our dust. Simone, you're the Black Sea of 2016 turning into the 2021 Black Flood. Start telling them to eat your mud and remind them that this is your water to wade in. They'll forget that you're the king gator of the moat. The only reason why you might drown now is because gold doesn't float. We know about shattering speeds while breaking barriers. We know about defying gravity. It's almost like we are royalty heir to air. We know about our bodies being beaten, broken, and somehow not being broken. All summer 16, we learned two things, right? That hashtag nooses are heavy water weights, and that you are the tangible example of conquering our last element that just kept slipping right through our fingers. Thank you.
And it's like you said, I mean, it's poignant even today, considering what's going on with like Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think it's yeah. So I'm kind of expanding it, right? And I'm expanding it. I'm writing one for Simone Biles, and I'm going to write one for Sha'Carri Richardson, for sure. Mainly because they're from Texas, the Black women from Texas as well, and so. And they're literally breaking barriers, right? They're literally shattering, especially especially Biles.
Yeah,
like it's insane. Like it's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah. And she's got the confidence to wear like the GOAT swag, like as she does. It's like, yo.
It's not confident. It's not confident if it's true.
That's right. It's like nothing but props to like for.
It's not confident if it's true.
Absolutely. So I don't know. There's no real good segue right here, but I'm gonna do it. I want to talk
there.
Yeah, right. Kind of this theme of like sports. As someone who coaches often and specifically coaches young people to develop their own talents to then take themselves onto like national stages like Brave New Voices and onward. What would you kind of define as like maybe your like coaching mission statement, especially with the youth? Like, what is it? Do you have like a guiding principle? Defense wins championships. Outspoken Bean says what about coaching the youth?
That's funny. Defense wins championships. That's so Spurs. You know what I'm saying? I would say, I'm developing people, and I'm developing people to win in the times when no one is taking score. And that's really corny, really cheesy. But, I was watching. Have y'all watched Ted Lasso? Have y'all watched that show?
No.
It's really good. It's on Apple TV, so no one watches it. But I really connected to it really well. A friend of mine got me on it. But it's a sense of, I never made it to finals on it. And that bothered me for a long time. And then I had to really kind of like check in myself of like, wait. I got a lot of like students who are like doctors. You know what I'm saying? Students who are like who have PhDs, who are contributing to society in mad positive ways. I got people who are looking up to some of my previous students. You know what I'm saying? Like Josh Wynn was just on here.
Yeah. Award-winning poet Josh Wynn.
Award-winning. You know what I'm saying? I got people who are actively challenging status quo of what their world and their perspectives are. And I'm really proud of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm really proud of that. And so, most of my students, I just want them not to be shitty people, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to be able to take this as a DNA, to take these experiences, these summers, these months, these hours, these minutes, these seconds that they spend with me, that they allow me to spend with them, to be able to multiply it when they leave. I think about Jordan, I think about Neff, I think about Robin, I think about Dante, I think about Ashton, I think about Tim Woods. I think about all these students, these adults now who are super dope now, and proud to like know them, and like they become friends and they become really kind of solid people. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important. Man. And I'm not saying they wouldn't have gotten it without me. I'm pretty sure maybe. You know what I mean? But I was happy to be a part of it at that time.
Yeah. Let's dive into that a little bit more. You kind of touched on it already, but like you spent a lot of your time organizing and coaching, the youth of Houston through Metaphor, something that you kind of helped start and develop. What is it about all of this that has made it such an integral part of your journey, and what do you see the future of Metaphor being? Man,
it started as a job. It's like, just to be real, it was a job that was fun. I started Metaphor. I didn't start Metaphor. Prairie View Productive Poets. I started that first. I wanted to compete, and And then when we went to Cupsies and we did really well, the first HBCU to go to Cupsies, that just led to like, okay, I want to do more of this. And I was getting into it in a time when it was Youth Poetry Slam was burgeoning and starting to bubble and stuff like that. And so I was interested in it. You know, I was interested in it. I thought it was something that could be really dope. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how it started. It started as like just as simple as that. Oh, this is cool. What the future of metaphor though? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like, listen, man. I'm a Jetson now. You know what I mean? 10 years ago, it was Flintstone thinking. You know, like this is the future. You know, like this is the future, and I wasn't thinking 10 years ago I would still be coaching Metaphor Houston. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't think I would still enjoy it either. You know what I mean? As long as I'm enjoying it and I can do it, I'll do it. You know, I like the idea of bringing in alumni, people who are younger and closer to the age of the students.
Sure.
And paying them to do it. I would like, you know, more. We're starting to pay them. We're starting to pay the kids to not be on the team yet, not that, but we're starting to pay them like for gigs. You know, I was talking to a group of kids today. Like, I was like, you know, for years I had to come to grapples with, I had to come to grapples that I was NCAA. You know, I had to like come to that realization that I was NCAA, and I hate NCAA because like the ask that they ask of these young people, they're not willing to ask to pay them, right? To beat that over them, and so I had to come to terms. And it was a poet from not one of my previous poets, but a poet that I worked with who's younger than me, Lois, who kind of put that in my face, and I was like, you're right. And that was hard for me to like really like, you know, I don't think I didn't, when I realized I was no longer the underdog, I was like, oh wait, I'm not struggling to raise money. I'm not that anymore. I'm not that anymore.
You're now the establishment.
I'm not the underdog anymore, right? Eventually the underdog becomes top dog. And but I was as top dog in this metaphor, like I was like, there were opportunities for the students at Metaphor Houston got paid. I never took the money, but that Metaphor Houston got paid, but we would just put it to like fundraising for them to go to Brave New Voices, and that was the excuse. So a goal eventually would be to like, they make the team. It's a paid position for them to be on the team. I would like that. I would like that. I really, really like that. I would love for the network of youth organizations to become stronger. Because even when Brave New Voices was at its peak, and the pandemic has changed a lot of things, but even when Brave New Voices was at its peak, like it was really still like 5-7 organizations that were like super, super strong, and then others. Right? I would love to figure out a way again to like raise the others, because this is national work.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think you were one of the people who brought it to my attention like early on when I started coaching youth too, where you were like, bro, like kids, they make way more money like whenever they go out to these places and perform and do shit and fundraise than adults ever do. And I was like, yeah, and you see it, and like, so I could totally understand when you say like, you know, the NCAA analogy, like there should be more for the amount that they contribute to receive back in the terms of financial compensation.
We have to be willing to ask. I'm the adult. I'm the I'm the adult. Like, listen, man, I'm like, some of these kids could be my kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the adult, you know? And so like, it's like, okay, well then, like, all right, you're asking for Metaphor to come to this performance. What's their words? I had like, yo, I was bugging, like, but also I was learning, and so that's how I see it in the future, in the very, very, very near future. I would like to be able, because one, we're going to fundraise to get them to competition,
Right?
That's going to happen, regardless. That's going to happen. So that is a goal.
Okay. Kind of staying on this idea of like the future. You've been performing for a while now, like over a decade, and then coaching and stuff. And like I would say you're kind of arguably a part of this sort of like older Houston that was very established.
Now I am.
Yeah. Like
no one knows who I am at right about now.
Well, that's what I was gonna get to, was like is how have you seen this evolution in Houston sort of go? Because I remember when like Houston VIP, what was Boomtown Coffee and stuff, and it was like still like Fluent and Deep and Nine and a bunch of other people, to where it's kind of grown over the years and
that was our peak. That was our peak right there.
Yeah.
Boomtown Coffee was our peak. Like Boomtown Coffee, I don't even know. Chibbi, did you ever go to Boomtown?
I did. It was right when I moved to Houston, as the tail end. I think I hosted like 2 slams, and then you all moved.
Yeah. Well, the curse of like venues moving us and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like the idea of like, yo, all right, let's do weekly. Not weekly, but let's do a workshop before the slam. Like that was, that was important. And I wouldn't say we were the new faces at that time, but we were young enough to have that energy to galvanize an audience and to raise the money. And truth be told, man, I was looking at Austin Poetry Slam because I would talk to Danny Strack all the time. I would call him. I'd be like, yo, all right, how y'all do this? How y'all do that? Blah blah blah. And the goal was to do what Right About Now did. But we kept running into the same thing, right? Kept running into like venues either shut down, don't want us there anymore. Even when we were successful, right?
Yeah.
Like Boomtown Coffee, that was the problem. We were successful. Like
it was too many people.
Too many people. And their complaint was, well, no one is getting coffee. I was like, then what are these people doing? They didn't want it. It comes down to they don't want it because we don't want it.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It comes down, it's like, yo, what's the problem? And I had to, at 26 or whatever, right? I had to come to terms that like, yo, sometimes people just don't want it. Some people just don't want your art. And so how's it feel now, when I meet someone and they have never heard of me in Houston, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, it is weird because it's like you got to to keep relevancy in that space. You kind of need to keep going to that space, right? Mm-hmm. People know who Christopher Michael is. This is no knock, but people know who Christopher Michael is because he keeps going, and he's integrally in that.
He's at every space, yo. He's at every space that's around Christopher Michael.
He was just at Second Verse, last week here in San Antonio. Like, yeah.
But see, I count Second Verse November 12th, your boy. Yeah. But I count Second Verse differently because that's older contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As far as like younger people, right? Like they don't know. They were 10 years ago, they were like adolescents.
They were 16 years old 10 years ago. Yeah. I just had that moment because I was in Houston over the weekend. We were hanging out with like a newer poet, and I had this revelation. I'm like, when I and Amir Safi and others started Right About Now, you were 15 years old.
Oh.
That, so like how does it's this new space that I think people our age are entering, where like we are now interacting with the next generation, and the next generation are adults. So what do we continue to do to cultivate these spaces that are no longer ours? They are theirs.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say they're no longer ours, right? I think the cultivation, I think building the space, it is our job to maintain the space, right? Mm-hmm. And to maintain the space and to allow to like listen, man. Them kids next door, they do not own Better for Houston. They do not. They do not. They don't, right? And I think it's really important to understand those lines, right? There's things that their parents had to sign. And even if they are 19, 18 years old, I'm like, no, your parents still need to see it. I'm going to make sure that they see it, right? There's things that are in place for safety and things like that, right? But as far as the culture of the space, that's what they own. That's what they own. They own the culture of the space, right? If it's not something where they're comfortable in, right? And that will change as time goes, right? And it's pretty in culture. A lot of times, I feel like not a lot of times. Let me retract that. I feel that Generation Z, they're a lot more inclusive with their culture.
Yeah,
they're a lot more inclusive than even we were.
Yeah, actually, that's a very fair point. Yeah, way more than we were, because it was. I don't want to say more cutthroat, but it was definitely more like jockeying for position and like competitive, and like whereas now it's more holistic and more like, oh, that was good, and you know, and I'm not saying one is right or wrong.
Well, I'm talking about that. Yes, yes, but I'm even talking about like not even just in the slam world, right? I'm talking about just like how like because I was supportive, you know what I'm saying? But how I showed support, maybe this is what you're saying. How I showed support was finding the Pluto Slam team in the middle of Charlotte and saying, "What the fuck are y'all doing?"
Yeah, he did that. I remember that.
Yeah. Why do y'all come here and like y'all don't suck? Why come here to suck? Like that is not going to really fly.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not going to really fly. And also, again, that was like I got the point across. But a lot of times, what that does is close people up, and that may have closed up. I'm not going to say any names, but that may have closed up a few of those people I did that to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was not my intention, but it was just also like, yo, what the fuck is going on over there? You know what I'm saying? And like, because I knew all of you.
Yeah.
But then also, because I guess what my mindset was like, well, you know, poets are gossips. So they'd be like, yo, Pluto, like they would talk bad.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, nah. So I would defend at night or wherever when Pluto Slam was around. Yeah. And they're like, why do you care? You're Houston VIP. And we had like a chip, even though if we weren't advancing, people knew we were good. It was like an anomaly on why we weren't advancing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I would use that to my advantage. And like, but so then when I saw y'all, I brought all of that energy, which is what I brought all that energy to the doorstep rather than being like, yo, let's talk. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? I came in lecture style. Not even lecture. I wasn't even lecture. That was just like I just came in.
Yeah, and I think what I was saying in terms of like these spaces aren't ours anymore. It's like, you know, like when Amir and I and others like started right about now, and I think I can speak to Rooster too. When like they started the Blah Poetry Spot, it was creating a space for us. We created a space that we needed to exist in. But now the space isn't for us anymore. Like, yes, we still benefit from it. Yes, we're still part of it. But the space is now we're seeing it with Blah here in San Antonio. This space isn't for us anymore. It's for all these new faces and these new poets. And that's the next generation of writers that are benefiting from something that we started 7, 9, 10 years ago. Right?
That's nuts, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah,
man. You know, so it is, it has to run its course. It has to.
Yeah.
It has to run its course. And if you're able to be a part of it, and it's not like, you know, the 40-year-old at the college party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was always older people in Poetry Slam. There was always older people in Poetry Slam.
There still is, yeah.
Still is. There still are. So who were dope too, like who were cool, who would mix.
Christopher Michael, shout out to you.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so like Glow and there was a whole bunch. And so like, you know, that is, but I think also like yeah, you have to allow space for other people to come in.
Absolutely, yeah. We need new blood enriches, what can
gotta bring new blood in.
Yeah,
it's a self-selector in that way.
So we've talked a lot about like what where you've kind of come from and all of that. I want to get into like where you are now and where you're going. But first, can you give us another poem, and then let's transition into the next phase of your life.
Let's do it. I reached the point of no return. Then I remembered my promise, right? And making me a customer to my service that came with non-negotiable terms, targeted as a non-Walmart policy that I can't nor won't return myself. You see, when I left the shelf, the top one, I started life. These priceless times have been tagged on me. I have to remind myself to retail. I have to remind myself to retell myself not to discount me. I am the manager, on call and general. The question to how I may help you, well, that's always found on the road with the mirrors. What's new in store has always been in store. The inventory has been barcoded and accounted for. My worth is my offer. That is my only offer. Attention shoppers. We have a steal of a deal. Here I am, on or in the aisle. I am no longer waiting for intercoms to announce my calling.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hot damn. So you are who you are, and because you've been doing this for a long time, you've been performing since 2005, mostly through the spoken word and the slam scene and all of that. Where did the decision to apply for poet laureateship come from? Like what was that journey to being like, yeah, no, this is the next step?
I had never heard of poet laureate until I was in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
And
as most of us in the spoken word and slam scene, we're like, what the fuck is, I can't even spell that word.
Yeah, there's a lot of us, and it seems cool, but also like when I found out about it, it was like, it wasn't even, Houston didn't even have one. And then in 2011, I got nominated. I was the first performance poet to be nominated as a poet laureate. I got she passed away, but Sandra Bernard of the opera of Houston Grand Opera, she nominated me. And then the people at TCA like called me and they were like, hey, you've been nominated, but we've never had anyone do spoken word apply before or been nominated. I was like, what? She was like, yeah. So that was nuts. That was like, and honestly, I was like, yo, that's a big, I didn't think I was going to win. I was like, that's a big enough accomplishment. Like, great. So in 2013 is when we got it with Houston, and I applied. I didn't get it, but I knew I wasn't going to get it because the language was not inclusive for
spoken word.
For spoken word. I was like, under this, I would never get it. So the next year, in 2015, I went on to be on the panel of selection, hoping I would be, and I was. And I fought tooth and nail till publishing just doesn't mean publish a book.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Publishing, when I upload a video, it says publish on YouTube. And they're like, yeah, but that's not the same. And these academics, they were coming for me, bro. They were, and I stood my ground on that shit. And Shannon Buggs was in it, but she wasn't a voting member. My previous boss, Robin, she was in it, but she kind of just, she agreed with me. But the other people who were, they were not here. They were not here for it. they were very aggressively like saying, no, we're not putting this. And we would like kind of like court, like jury when they can't make up a decision. It was like that. And so we wind up getting it to where it is now. was like, all right, cool. Because I felt, just like under these rules, someone like me could not become it. And honestly, I was thinking about like Robert Frost types. I was like, that's boring. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna miss out on a wide talent pool. Right? I was thinking about myself, but I was also thinking about just other poets who I knew were dope. So Robin winds up getting it. We wind up changing those rules. I apply again. No, I don't apply that next year. Then Deep gets it. And Deep is, and then someone over Mocha, Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. Her name is Debbie McNulty. She's the ED. She comes to me. She was like, because of your rules, Deep was able to get that. She was like, I wasn't in charge last year, but I was told that you really fought for those. She was able to get that because of you, right? And so that made, and so sometimes a person in the room was in the room years ago, and so 2019 I apply, and I got to the mayor's desk, and I didn't get chose, and I started thinking about, okay, well, 2021, I'm going to think about the project, because I felt, and I also talked to Deep, and I talked to a few people, but I really talked to Deep, and I talked to a few other people about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't think it was my poetry. My poetry got me to the interviews, but I neglected the project. I need to put emphasis on the project, right? I was like, because I was really arrogant for me to think just because the mayor knows who I am and knows my name, genuinely he does, that he would choose me. Why would I think that? Oh, because my project didn't speak for me. And I write that too. So I really put the idea in my head to like craft this project. And I put more, I didn't even work on the poems I submitted. I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, once I realized, I was like, I sent in videos and stuff like that before published, right? I was like, all right, that will get me, you did it in 2019, that should get me interviews. The interview process, my girlfriend helped me tremendously. I wouldn't have gotten it without her. I wouldn't have gotten through the interviews without her. And then now it's down to me and another person. And I was like, now this is where my project speaks for itself. I can't control that now, but I put that control when I wrote it.
There you go.
And so that's where I put my focus in, man. The poet laureate, it really should be project laureate, like, because the project, persistence, baby. Yeah, that's right. Like the project is what won it.
Yeah. And now that you are Houston's poet laureate, I don't have, like, we write down questions to maybe ask. This is more just because I know you, and I'm just curious, like, how is this affecting you now, performer, Outspoken Bean, coach, Outspoken Bean? Like, because, for example, Vocab, ever since she got it, like, I remember a couple years ago, like, me and her having a conversation and her like talking to God and being like, yo, like this is not even the laureate shit that she got here, but just like, you know, for access and that sort of like open doors of coming. And as soon as it opened for her, it was like a tidal wave of new opportunities. And how are you handling that, I guess is my question. Or like, what's that like for you? Like, has it reframed like what you think the next 5 years for you is, or what's the deal?
Yeah, it's definitely brought me in spaces that I wouldn't have been in before. The tech space primarily. The Houston budgeting tech.
They gave you Bitcoin, my guy.
Yo, man, I've done some like, you know, because I just don't do poetry. I'm also like an MC, so like hosting and stuff like that. So that's put me in spaces where it's like, oh crap, dope, like that. They just wouldn't have, you know. Here's what poet laureate is. You want to know what it is? Here's what it is.
Don't get fired.
No, not at all. So neat, right?
Yeah.
You can't like you can get meat from like, you know, from someone, but it may not be cured correctly. It may not be done well. It may not be prepared well before you cook it. USDA, that approval, what that means is it's been inspected. And if it is bad, right, and you bought it under the terms when it's supposed to be good and it's something bad and it was missed by the inspection, now you can go to you have a face, an organization to go to. Maybe a little hard, but you still can go to UDSA's door, right? Now, without it, some people, a lot of people are like, nah, I don't trust it. I don't know what this is. It hasn't been inspected. That's what Poet Laureate is. The mayor is put his stamp of approval. And so these organizations in the city, these institutions, these different things that have money and have access to things that I didn't have access before, they may have heard of me before, but they didn't. I'm a poet. They don't know what I'm going to say. The stamp of approval of Poet Laureate is like, oh, okay, we're good.
I feel that.
That's what it is. And like, listen, man, and doing corporate gigs is something I've been wanting to do for a while. In the poetry world, I know that shouldn't be said, but that's something like I want. I don't mind doing it. I don't have a connection to corporate work. Don't have a connection. You know what I'm saying? If I write it, like for instance, I just did something with Astrodome. It's going to be coming out really soon. They paid me a lot of money to write this poem and perform it and record it. And then I was able to pay my music producer. And then I was able to pay Jeremiah Payne, the fluent one. I was able to pay him to do the video, right? I was able to pay my friends to help me do this project from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the bonus is not even a payment. The bonus is like, oh, wow, I actually like this poem.
Yeah.
That's the bonus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how I kind of view it.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that, like.
But there's a lot there. I'm like, don't care about this poem. That's fine. When I perform it, I will care about it then.
Yeah.
Then I will care about it. But right now, I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you kind of mentioned a little. You mentioned Deborah Deep Mouton, who was the homie Deborah Deep Mouton, who was previously a poet laureate, a Houston poet laureate in San Antonio. Yes. In San Antonio, we currently got Andrea Vocab Sanderson. In Virginia, we got the homie Roscoe Burnhams. In Oregon, Anis Mushkani is the current poet laureate out there.
Mushkani, man, is that's a G right there.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I still got poems memorized by him. You know what
yeah. So we're seeing this like surge of poets that maybe came up in the spoken word and slam scene, just kind of like take this torch, right? Why do you think that's happening?
Because we're dope, bro. We're dope. That's why. What do you mean? What kind of question is that? We're dope. We're dope. And we've been dope. And we've been dope. But until people in power, until people who are in power take us at our word, right? I am very much like, I wouldn't say I'm an anarchist, but I am much like, we got to get power in your own hands. But in a lot of cases, that's just not the case. In a lot of cases, just not the case, right? If I didn't win this, I could say, well, I'm the Houston Heights Poet Laureate. I could say that. You know what I mean? But it just looks bitter, right?
Yeah.
This is the project. This is the terms of it. This is the lines, right? And I'm charismatic. And I did the work, right? I did the work, and I'm going to do the work, and I'm proving it. And if I don't do it to the degree I need to, then that's a problem. That's a problem. That's an addressing. But the problem with that is I'm not just I'm a bricklayer right now, right? I'm bricklaying. But if I don't do a good job, right? And if I don't do a good job and it's like to satisfactory, they may pull up the bricklaying for people who are on it.
And I think that I think that leads to like the real question of it is just like, what do you think, like, as more spoken word artists break into this space that is, you know, traditionally inhabited by academia,
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
what does this mean
Older
for the poetic
academia.
literary world to tear down that divide between like page and stage?
Yo, man, it's not a tear down. I don't think it's a tear down. Like, listen, y'all, academia's had a good run. They got tenure. You know what I'm saying? They're doing great. They're doing great. I don't think we should be shitted on.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't think we should be shit on. I don't think like our work, but the thing is, it's like, yo, listen, man, I've seen Juno Diaz, right? He's awesome in person. He's awesome in person. I've seen him twice. I love listening to him speak before, you know, the thing where he got canceled, right? But like I love, but because he was a great speaker. Mm-hmm. It's not because you only want them because they do slam. No, a lot of us learned how to be charismatic and be dope and we engage and we do a lot of engaging work outside of just teaching or whatever. You know what I mean? We go and we organize events. We had to organize when we had no money. We had to, you know what I'm saying? We had to go to youth because that's where the jobs were. That's where the jobs were, to go into schools and stuff like that. We picked up other skills.
Mm-hmm. We picked up other skills, but we lost an internet connection is what just happened.
Oh, man. He was on a roll, too.
I don't know.
Oh, no, you're back. You're back.
He's back. He's back.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we just picked up other skills. So as far as academia, can you hear me now?
Yeah. We got you.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. We can hear you.
Great. Yeah, we picked up other skills and because we had to. And those skills look really good when you have somebody representing a region, a city, a state. You know what I mean? Lupe never slammed. Never slammed. You know what I mean? He would be an incredible poet laureate. He's going to be an incredible Texas poet laureate. He's going to start doing things that others just didn't think about, straight up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, like there's going to be other academia poet laureates. You know what I mean? There's going to be others. They're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be others. Calm down. Calm down.
No, I don't think that they need to go anywhere. It's not about tearing them down. It's about tearing down the divide between the academic world and the spoken. Like y'all are doing the work to mesh.
Clutch. But come on, man, they clutch onto it.
Yeah,
they clutch onto it. And if they're and in a lot of ways they clutch onto it. It's not like they're saying no poets who do stuff with their hands as they perform and memorize. They're not doing it that way. What they do is make tuition high as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Make it harder to publish.
Yeah, what they do is create barriers of access. You know what I'm saying? That's how they do it.
Yeah.
And so, listen, poetry and creative, like humans in a lot of ways, Jeremiah Payne was just talking to me about this, right? Humans in a lot of ways are water. We go to the path of least resistance. If all three of us wanted to keep competing. So keep competing. All three of us ultimately wanted to keep doing poetry slam and keep writing poems. And like the source was poetry. We found a way. Mm-hmm. We found a way. We found a way to do it other ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then one of the pearlier levies opened up, which was Poet Laureate, and we went to it.
Persistence.
It's an open call.
Mm-hmm.
It's an open call. But even like with Houston, the first one, I love Gwen. This is nothing to her, but it's like, I knew when I read that, I was like, there's no way I would get this. I replied anyway, but there was no way I was going to get it. No way.
Well, you got it now, so.
I got it now, you know what I'm saying? And I want more people. I want more people like me to get it.
Yeah. And to your point, it is a Brick Lane movement that's happening right now, to where it's like people like yourself, like Vocab, like Deep, like Roscoe, like Anise, who are in these positions, and not only in these positions, but a lot of them are getting some serious grant money to put on incredible programs for the people of their city and their state. Like, they are giving legitimacy to what has
Come
often been a group of literary artists that have just been rolled over, right? They've just been glossed over because it's like, yeah, but that's not real poetry. It's like, no, bitch, but it is.
Well, it's like we got the streets, like, period. We got the streets, and they don't recognize that as valuable. But it's like, I've seen award-winning poets put people to sleep. I've seen no-name people like drive the crowd of Puro Slam, a bar at midnight, go nuts on a Tuesday. So it is what it is. And I think, to Bean's point too, and like, one of the things I want to kind of touch on real quick is what Chibbi mentioned, is like, while we have these names, and it's amazing to see Anise and you and Deep and Vocab and a lot of people, and Roscoe, and people who we've known sort of inhabit these positions, there's still like an army of us who don't, but who are like, Amir Safi, like Chibbi, like myself, like, other people like Christopher Michael, people who are out there doing the work to this day, who don't have those accolades yet, but we're in the wings and we're coming for your ass. Not your ass, but the audience.
I already got it, so you can come forward to spy it, right? Yeah. My mindset is like, like, I have no intention of closing the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, a hater would have been, when you asked me the question, so why did you go for it? A hater would have been like, oh, I just wrote it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times hating is not saying anything. It's what you're not saying.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Nah, man. I focus on the project. If you go off a Houston Poet Laureate, focus on the project. You know what I mean? Make sure what you have as far as your poetry is dope as well, right? And which I did. The year before, I pretty much submitted the same thing to get through, right?
Yeah.
But my project wasn't stellar, so I focused on the project.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see that project come to fruition. Hopefully next season we will have you on and we can talk about all the amazing things that you did as a poet laureate, and the project and the impact that this had. This has been a fantastic conversation. I appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you do us the favor of closing us out with one more poem?
Of course. I was trying to figure out which poem I was going to do. During the night, I feel my moon looks up to me. Even from down here, my moon doesn't judge my gravity because he pulls for me. He knows the power behind preposition positioning, so between midnight yet before dawn, my moon whispers to me saying, find a way to keep your head above the clouds while your feet, your souls, and your soul remain grounded, however, never underneath it, my moon. Always knows what's best for me. Despite wherever I am standing, the best parts of my nearby is somewhere in my insides. My moon, y'all, is a proclamation. He always knows how to make his exclamation point stating each day coming should be seen as an until we are all up on, then and only then go into it. And that is a prayer for my brother, my late brother. And if he was here, he would respond. Say, bro, I know that you're closing in. Arms stretched wide to an attainable sky. We don't get too much information up here, but I hear for the past 11 years, you've been letting everyone know where your name Outspoken Bean came from. Yeah, that's a bet. I mean, since we're just shooting the breeze, can you tell me if the Saints finally won a Super Bowl yet? Say, bro, our escape is in scope, so escape as much as you think you can, bro. I don't have too much advice for you. Could you tell my daughter Levinique that the weight of royalty, well, those are crowns and the best ones are handmade. Say, bro, I know that you're closing in. Arms stretched wide to an attainable sky, and every time you get in front of a set of eyes, give all of you, every ounce of you, from me to you.
We appreciate you, big homie. Thank you so much. Congrats on again. It's lovely to see, man, to see names and people I know doing big things out there. So salute.
Oh man. Thank y'all for having me. Man, thank you for filling in. And thank y'all for creating this platform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I know we have it displayed on the screen right now, but for anybody that's listening to the podcast afterwards, if people want to find you, follow you, tip you, book you, where can they do that?
At Outspoken Bean, outspokenbean.com. My coloring book is on my website. My poetic coloring book called Color Outside the Lines. Venmo is what I use, which is at Outspoken Bean. You got the at sign with that. PayPal, if you just want to bless me, awesome. If not, just follow me at Outspoken Bean. Real easy.
There you go. The current Houston Poet Laureate, Outspoken Bean, Spurs fan for life.
Spurs fan for life, baby. Come on, Patty Mills, lighten up them boys.
That's right.
Show some love in the comment section. Thank you again for being with us tonight.
Thank y'all.
Yo.
Woo.
I'm feeling riled up. I'm gonna go burn an institution now.
as you should. I mean, like I said, it's great seeing the time come. I guess you don't want to jump too far ahead, but in my heart, it feels like the time is coming, or it's come, where a lot of people, and the word that I think I would capitalize or use to summarize everything is just persistence. You see a lot of poets come and go over the years, over the months, over the weeks, over the days. So to see, Outspoken Bean, people like yourself, me, Deep, Vocab, everyone who's just never quit. We've wavered and we've stumbled, but we never quit. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where spoken word and where poetry and the literary world in general continues to evolve through as we continue to legitimize the voices of the diversity of voices that are out there. So props to Bean for everything that he's doing in that regard. Let's thank some people and get out of here. So thank you to the audience that tuned in tonight. Your voices are so valuable to the show. We appreciate what you guys had to say and the interactions that were happening. So thank you for being here, and we want you to know about upcoming shows and all that fun stuff. So where can people do that?
They can by following Words and Shit on IG and Twitter at Words and Shh. So be sure to follow them, and Write Art Out Inc. on Facebook. We usually post about what's going on with Words and Shit also.
And whether this is your first time watching or if you've been here before, but maybe you haven't caught all the episodes, all our episodes, all 55 plus episodes are available wherever you get your podcasts or on our YouTube channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review wherever you do that. So please do that and catch up on some previous conversations.
And be sure to come back next week, same time, same place, where the next feature will be none other than Annalicia Sotelo.
Yes, other Houston poetry institution. So excited to have her on this show. That'll be next week. Until then, y'all, stay safe out there.
Peace, y'all.